Chapter 9. Divine Grace.
The name of the Lord purifies both the body and the mind. I have taken the name of God. What have I to fear? What is there in the world to bind me? I have become immortal by taking the Lord's name. With such a burning faith, one should practice spiritual exercises. What is the goal of spiritual practices? It is to realize God, to attain divine grace. The practices are meant to clear the heart of all the impurities brought there by lust and greed. Unless this is done, you can never reach your goal, however much you may try. You cannot attain God's grace nor realize Him unless you purify your heart. Impurities have gathered in it through innumerable lives, and they are to be removed. Sri Ramakrishna used to cite a beautiful illustration. So long as the needle is covered with mud, it is not attracted by the lodestone. But when the mud is washed off, the needle is naturally drawn towards the lodestone. Similarly, the dirt of the mind is washed away if one can think of the Lord and meditate on Him. If one can cry unto Him with repentance, saying, "Lord, forgive me, I will not do wrong in the future." At once the magnet of God draws the needle of the mind. Divine grace flows the moment the mind becomes pure, and then the realization of God takes place as a matter of course. God is the Son of knowledge. He can be seen only when He reveals His glory to the seer. In fact, so long as a person cherishes a desire for worldly enjoyment, he cannot have sincere yearning for the knowledge or vision of God. Children forget themselves when they get dolls to play with or sweets to eat. But after a time the dolls lose all charm for them. They want to go to the mother. Such is the case with men. Only after they become satiated with the enjoyments of the world do they long for God. Then the thought of God realization becomes uppermost in their mind. They are eager to hear what others have to say about God, and they try to realize Him in their own lives. Noble desires do not arise in the mind easily. Know this. Those who have them by the special grace of God. In this world of Maya, men receive innumerable blows and suffer untold miseries. Still they do not want to change their course. Strangely enough, they go again and again to the same place only to get blow after blow. If someone gives them good counsel, they feel annoyed with that person. Men know full well that if they put their hand into the fire, it will get burned. Still they do it again and again. Not only that, they invite others to do likewise. If any man differs from them, they call him mad and even go to the point of persecuting him. Do you not see how guardians try their best to raise obstacles in the way of the boy who wishes to take up the religious path, to lead a sannyasin's life? But they make little effort to turn back one who is leading a wild life and who may become a source of evil to himself and to his country. All the objections rise only when a boy wants to live a virtuous life. People try their utmost to drag him down to their own level. Do you know what the father of a monk once said referring to his own son? He said,
"I would have been happier had he died instead of becoming a monk. There is no control over death, one has to yield to it. But I cannot bear to see others taking away what belongs to me."
This is what is called the world, so full of selfishness. People lose themselves in anger the moment self-interest is hurt. But they have not the sense to understand that if a person is able to be a true sannyasin, not only does he do good to himself, but also he paves the way for the spiritual advancement of those near to him. Nowadays people have become so very restless, they have not the patience to think seriously before acting. They take up whatever comes in their way, without caring to think whether or not it is likely to do them good. But the mischief does not end here. Parents train up their children in such a way that they too have to suffer like them when they grow up. Everyone is born with the impressions of innumerable past lives. The tendency to enjoyment is already strong, and the training one gets in childhood intensifies this propensity. How fortunate must they be who have escaped already or are trying to escape from the manifold dangers that threaten their spiritual life. Through the grace of God, you have been able to give up the world. Beware that you do not miss this rare opportunity of reaching your desired goal. Be up and doing. Realize God. Do not pay heed to anything else. Look up to Him alone. He will take your whole burden. Then you will see that all your lower desires and cravings will leave you altogether. What can we know of God with our little brain? Nothing. Therefore I ask you to surrender yourself completely to Him. His will be done. He is omnipotent. What power has man? All that you can do is to love God. Have intense yearning for Him. The whole world is mad for something. Why run mad after fleeting objects of this world? Better be mad for God. The goal is to realize God. Work can never be the aim of life. Even selfless work is not an end in itself, but only a means to divine realization. Practice spiritual discipline and advance in the way of God. Then you will know that God alone is real, and all else unreal. That the realization of God is the ultimate goal of life. You may get a little more light after a few days' religious practice. But do not think that you have got everything. Continue your discipline and move onward and onward. Then you will realize God. You will be blessed with His vision. You will be able to know Him intimately. Hear me, my boys. You are all born of good families and are well educated. You have had enough of study, argument and discussion. Why care for more? Now compose your mind and fix it on God. Say to your mind, plunge into the ocean of God. You have given up the world. If again you remain busy with trash and do not dedicate yourself to God, you will lose both this world and the next. Through the grace of the Lord you have got noble thoughts and aspirations. Make the best use of this divine grace. Do not sacrifice the infinite bliss of God for the sake of the ephemeral pleasures of the world. Pray to the Lord, grant me, O Lord, the necessary strength to overcome all the obstacles that stand in my way to you. All worldly pleasures become insipid to him who gets a taste of divine bliss. What is there in the world? Be it name or fame, wealth or children, nothing can bring peace to man. These only add to his misery and anxiety. Why have you come here, leaving your family and home? Is it to increase your burden or to lessen it? All the objects of enjoyment that you see before you vanish the moment you breathe your last. To tell you the truth, they only tend to take you into greater and greater darkness. Do you want to tread the path of darkness or the path of light? When you have once got a glimpse of the light, you should not turn your face from it. Do not look at the things of the world. If you do so, you will get lost in them. So great is the influence of desires that if they once leave an impression on your mind, they will drag you down lower and lower. Yet they will not let you feel your downward course. The only way to be saved from these dangers is to offer yourself solely to God.